Cool, so my ear's kind of cloggy still because it's still probably infected. It keeps like being better in the morning, and then I smoke. I think the smoking is not helping. I'm just freaking addicted, and it's a problem, but maybe it's good to at least acknowledge it. It's so fucking. It's hard to stop something that has been so seemingly useful. I mean, certainly, but I figured I'd just lay down and start watching more of something. Like maybe I should go back. I've made so many of these at this point. Maybe I should go back. And I saw the when the levee breaks one, and I was only sitting there like a minute before I was like, "Ugh, I gotta record." So I was saying, which was interesting. I forgot about this concept that there's here we can see for sure. We can see some of the rings. Some of the rings, like they're not all centered exactly at the here. They're kind of scattered throughout. But I was suggesting maybe that this area acted like maybe like a lens. I mean, it is an eye, so maybe in that way, like a lens, which would filter, because essentially a filter that would separate things, so that the more massive, like maybe the more complete massive systems. Let's see if there are any actual exposed islands. No. If any, that. This is. So in my Pew 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 Islands, I mentioned how the polygons form. Like these islands seem to have like polygons that form bubbles. So like here, like this. Polygon bubbles that even have little nodes at the corners for more like support structures. And inlets for exchange with the outside, which maybe is participating in building like this here. That then fill up, and as they fill up, then the inlet, like with enough pressure, the backflow out, like there's probably an inlet and an outlet. The backflow out begins, like the inflow begins to overwhelm the backflow, and so it essentially fills the polygon more. And I in that video when the levee breaks, I was talking about how maybe one of the trajectories through the lens was that it comes up here and just goes down. Like whatever the lens does, it causes these ones to go down. And I noticed they're all empty inside. Like there's not material in them. Really, they're all shells of. I mean, some of them, I guess. Like they tend to be bubbles essentially, and not have like a good amount of mass inside. Okay. And so in that video, I was saying, well, this stream must go over here and interact with the stream coming this way, and that, in essence, causes Fiji. Interesting, there's like a circle around the main island. And I realized I don't actually agree with that because it's right here next to like the supernova of the core of Australia that repetitively radioactively decayed. So it didn't just go through one decay, it went through many to a point where it spiraled into an ammonite. I would highly recommend just watching all of these. It's so many hours. I'll have to, when I'm done, I'll have to really go through it all again. But so Fiji's here. Also, I noticed world events have been like escalating right now. I'm like, did I do that? Steve Urkel. Where did it go? This stuff. Like 353, 340 on here at least. La la la. Like I said, maybe I need to be stopped if someone could speak with me and be like, stop because the XYZ. Maybe you can't because that would be the thing. That would be like the final thing. I just need to realize that and stop myself. But I don't think that's what is happening. Like people, it's not like everyone's participating thing. So maybe there's like the control and the placebo and the real vaccine. Maybe anyone who's vaccinated is consciously connected and I don't realize it. I don't know. I consider these things. I'm not vaccinated and maybe I'm not allowed to have access to this group understanding that is merging while this is happening. We're all just teaching me to stop being a fucking I don't know. But it seems like, I mean, it's a lot of effort, guys. And I really was just going about my life. Like, could have just let me, I guess maybe not. Can't let me fall off into the chaos. Oh dear, who knows? I don't know. So let's just keep going. Because so my thoughts was, well, maybe it doesn't go through it, but it's surely, and it looks like it bounces off it. And that made me think, isn't there like a photoelectric effect where like enough photons hitting a surface can like cause electrons to be emitted? So if these are photons that are relatively empty of material, wouldn't it be interesting if when they hit here, like this swirl is like of dense material, so it just pressure, like the pressure from this region of these bubbles, la 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 bubbles, hitting this and just getting filled. Wouldn't it be something if the islands start to have like substance within them? And I noticed like here's one, like wow, like these ones have like maybe like these are like electrons that got emitted by the photoelectric effect of what's going on here. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I think that's going on. Pretty sure I think that maybe. Feel like I know though, but you guys let me know. Yes, though. You guys have to like clear things up so like side of things. Or I'm just guessing like what the true crystalline experience we all are having is and what my actual part in it is rather than like my vibrationally many optional part in it. I was just thinking when I looked there the other day, it would probably be good to record this somewhere else, but I'll just include it here. I was talking about this region, and for sure, let's look at this region a little better. I called it like mini novas, or like just this region of just many little nova events that are causing like these nodes. And I was like, well, there's a current, so I was looking at this current. There's a current cutting across from if we follow it back from South America, which then comes from here, which came from here, which came from both from this way and this way, which came from here and back from here and ultimately back from here, and then came from Dwarka, from this hole in the mantle that was sending the material under the crust in all directions. Hole in the crust at the crust, hole in the crust mantle boundary, basically. Which was just like a shell kind of thing that was solid enough to not allow for like substantial exchange of material, but then a substantial hole was punctured in it and a substantial outflow of material coupled with a vortex just bringing in ether that filled the earth, causing it to swell and swell and swell and swell until finally enough material was within the earth and released out to fill. So as it's swelling, it's outflowing and just sweeping across underneath the crust and between the like boundaries that were naturally there. Kind of how there's like a boundary here, like it would go preferentially this way, but like in the same way there were already boundaries and it took those paths. And what was I talking about? Yeah, so it flowed out in all directions, and let's follow it across from South America, say, where it was coming from North America down this way, and from this side as well, down through Central America, through this region, where it was then just outflowing into here, which was probably putting a divisive pressure at the center of this to sever down the middle this chunk of continental crust. And then that played a critical role probably in the actual outcome. I think I might have moused over this. I think I'm not. Did I mouse? If I moused over this, that was silly of me. It's here. There's the line, and there's the outline of South America-ish. I might be here. And this is added material from the current, which divided here. Oh dear God. And it flowed across into Africa, where it then went through the nucleus as well as around it, carving it into, probably carving it into a galaxy, a like dual spiral armed galaxy or something. Like it looks like it goes here, maybe goes here and goes out this way, and creates like a positive, negative, like divide from what was a like a neutron, a neutral particle. So this system was neutral. A current went through it, and I guess removed material while pushing material to the other side, causing a positive negative here. So it has a charge. And then it continued through though, and went up this way, and 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 before, and this way, and this way, and out here, and into the Pacific, where it then, here it is coming across here, it then collides with this current, at an angle, but pretty head on to make like an X here. And here, if we look around, there's just a swirl of these little circular features. Mini novas. So at this intersection point, like right at this, where this, like, X element happens, right? Or was that up here? Oh, that's here. Yeah, here. Here. I don't know what this is. Was that, I was looking here. I guess that's here. So these are all related to this current coming this way and a current coming this way. All these islands, and like the scattered ones. These ones probably therefore are related to more of like a main like line that the currents somehow were forming. I guess because this current was pushing into this current, so it started to bend this way to be like out here, where then like this, maybe this region allowed for like a resistance. Like you have like a bar across a door and you push into the bar and it bends a bit from here, or like it's pushing outward, but then it hits where it actually hit. Like here's the door, it's outward. It hits or it's a door. The door closes, and then the door is closed. Essentially, the door is closed, and it's holding this region to cause this like up down up down up down up down like ripples. Wheel that are just going up. Okay, going up here. And then the ones that go around it go here, and that get through kind of scatter down this way, creating this region. That's just like I said in another video, it looks like it's dripping. Like it really does. Like it's just this like molten thing that's kind of just like starting at a point and just kind of forming larger blobs until it reaches a point where it just kind of drips away, and then it just leaves this chain of islands dripped down all the way back through Easter Island. So I wonder if this chain has a tendency where they are above ocean level to... This is cool. It's like DNA. There's another potential eye. Oh, look at that. I wonder if that's related to the ammonite I found. Okay. Is that the actual hexagon? No. It's over here. We can kind of see the currents, I guess. The currents this way, currents this way. The eyes must be like right there. Or right there. But yeah, so it's definitely like it's dripping. So it's just like it's dripping. But what's really critical? What causes dripping? Gravity, right? What's causing this dripping is the current that's going down this way. Wait. Why is it dripping? Oh, yeah. That's right. It's not that it's like, it's not dripping this way through this. It's that it's expanding, so it's actually leaving a trail of where it dripped. So, like, the first drips were back here. Back here is where that, like, Mariana Trench looking thing, similar thing, this here. This structure's first drips are probably around this region. I wonder if this even is very similar in appearance to this, like the curvatures of this. And then it just drips, 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 and then it streaks, drips as it becomes more of a just consistent flow, I guess. And then it runs into another current and leaves like a splatter, I guess. So that there must be a current that was flowing this way. Tahiti, you can even see these are definitely currents from it. Let's find where we're at here. I think that's that splatter. Is Tahiti at a major resistance point? It must be. Like right here or something. Where it just goes in all four directions. Like right there. I don't know. There. Wait, here's islands. It must show it. It's so hard to find though. That's Fiji. That's so cool. We can see like a ring around it here too. Like almost centered on Fiji. Like it's got an energy as it has Fiji, like truly. Arc. So it's definitely running into a resistance of a current. So it's not flowing through. It's not just flowing. It's actually kind of just hanging out, like hanging on through the wave, through the wind. There's just a wind blowing, and it's causing things of this nature. As the earth expands, the current's like crossing it. Okay, so where is Tahiti from Fiji? Fiji's here, Tahiti is here. Pretty significantly east. We can kind of go based off of that thing. So there, it's probably like there, or oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Oh, that's cool. They show it as a five-sided pentagon with a diamond. When it's really, is it? Is it also a pentagon? And I didn't really notice. I really just saw it as like a square, but I guess it is kind of five-sided, yeah. Like right here kind of looks maybe even like a creed. Oh my, you can even see the polygons around these. That is incredible. The key. The keyhole, where is this? French Polynesia. Upwards. Oh. Interesting. Oh Lord, oh Lord. This one's interesting because it's like a partially filled one. So we got like a electron, 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 maybe 5 electrons. Or 5 unfilled electrons, I guess. Is that just a thought? I wonder if it's like generally bonded in a way. That's like like it's directionally bonded. 1 electron here, 1 electron here, and like the. I guess it has 2 over here. Maybe 1 to this thing and 1 to this thing. Or something of that nature. And then maybe the other ones actually go like to the connection over here somehow through Fiji, maybe. That would be cool. An energetic bond. Okay, so it's moving along, dripping in the current as the Earth expands, and the currents are coming across there. Does that really... I guess the currents are coming this way, down this way at that point. Yeah, they're flowing out here, just like this. Whoosh, whoosh. So I guess they come out this way if they can, and sweep over here as much as they can. So they're coming out this way, up the wall, and then just kind of push out. Like up the wall as far as they can and start pushing out, and and then some more and push out, some more, push out, more, push out, and just create like one little bit there, and then 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers, 5 layers, like many layers out until they just get to like a maximum distance out that they can push it. And then same here, down to over here, here, just pushing out. So I guess it goes this. I want to say this flows like this, and like this, and like this, like this. So like the oldest stuff is at the front of the flow, so it's not like it flows from here to here, but the oldest stuff actually comes in at the end and fills in here. So the newest the newest stuff comes in at the end and fills here, whereas the oldest stuff is over here. So if we look at this kind of map, older stuff is filled in the further away, and then the newer stuff here. And it looks like, based on this, it must have been coming out of here along here, giving us this like fault line appearance here. So it's not really even a fault line, probably. It was just like temporarily the currents were focused down that region, which is probably good. Good to know. And then this one, also similar circumstance. Not really a fault line, although maybe I'm mistaken and being silly and hopeful. I'm like, oh, good. We're all fine. We're fine then. Look at me proving that we're actually fine. That would be cool if this all ended up with, oh, it is time for the golden age. Sweet. No, none of that bullshit. Could have been. Just us hanging out and like enjoying the epicness of this world we are a part of and sharing it with one another peacefully, meaning like allowing the currents to flow again, like not having these like, you know, temples to the sky where we just have like all of the wealth of the world contained in this like storage facility. Wow, like this support structure that the energy provides is just siphoned away, and like there's no outflow back. It's just like this systematic design of bringing inflow only. It doesn't actually like, it just causes the society's baseline underlying energy level to decay, and maybe at times decay to the point where we literally are no longer on solid ground. We're in the water, drowning, like deep in the water. If it decays like this much, like all this is gone, like all this is gone, you know. Like it decays that much where we're in the water, or like it decays even more so there is no water, but we're like just floating on a piece of chunk of rock out in space because it's decayed to gaseous state. Like that's how our operation has basically been, where we're like We're going to take everything from everyone and put it into this one central spot, hold it in tight, and control the world like that. While the world's just like, ah, ah. Because it's all the energy. It needs the outflow. We need to, like, break through the wall of the coffers that are just, like, systematically stealing energy from society by printing money, etc. All the methods that we use to, like, take energy from one another rather than just being like, we're one system. We're one system. I know. I don't really want to acknowledge that. Maybe. And maybe I've been saying things that maybe the one system that I would ultimately be referring to by saying certain words like law, as if this trash man-made attempt at a system of governance is the system. Pardon me, the system. I should have said, fuck a system. At this point, it doesn't even matter then, because it's not the system. I love the system. The system, like the universe, how it works. Us. So pardon me. Maybe I should acknowledge that in places and take down my fuck the systems. Pardon me, everyone. Rebuild the system. Let's just make peacefully. Maybe ask nicely, and they will open up this, like, they will build up pressure within and, like, outgas some energies to the surroundings so that we can peacefully establish an equilibrium again. Although maybe, never know what will happen. I mean, it's a guessing game. It really is, unless someone knows. I don't know. All I know is what I'm showing you, and maybe that's not right of me to do. So don't actually trust me completely and think for yourselves. But obviously, I'm, like, pointing to some things that we, as, like if you just look at our history, all the things we've ever cared about, this is relevant to. So what am I to do? Be like, I found the answers to all those things, but never mind. I think I should be like, I trust in, again, that this is happening for a reason. Like, a song told me that, like, kicked it all off. I will bend every light in the city and make sure it's shining on you. And I was like, I never considered gravity bending light, like, and voila, here we are, really. So how can I deny the greater power that is behind it all? And just say it's all meant to be and let's do this. Here's the answers. Or at least enough of an inlet to the like the basin of answers that exist that is like an ocean. Where, like, resources are, like, things that can feed us in ways other than food, but, like, feed us. Like, I don't need all those things I thought I needed because, I see that life is beautiful. Maybe I got something to learn from that, and I'm just, like, you're all waiting for me to learn that again. That's the real truth. I'm just, like, you guys, like, get on with it. Just get on with it. I'm noticing, like, a bunch of kind of, like, overlapping circles here. If you kind of look at it, it's almost like a bunch of overlapping circles. So I feel like this current did maybe come up this way and just collide here and create a lot of those novas again, which made this just, like, here. Um, I guess if we keep going in that way, there must have been colliding paths of this current coming in through the northern Canada section here rather than through Alaska. Came back over and came mixed with this. So wherever it's mixing, it's creating those little novas. Mix, 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 mix. Kind of like how I'm mixing like that with this, and now we're getting little novas of explaining that and this. And also how we can add on, kind of like how. And here's another basin and another like figure eight here ish thing. So maybe this can tie into Australia. Maybe there was another nucleus that, and there's like an ammonite here that I can't really see whatsoever. Maybe here, here, maybe spiraling this way though, so that it's kind of inward at the end, so it doesn't have, I don't know, it just feels that way. Whereas if it's spiraled like Australia, I think Australia spiraled the other way, yeah. Where this one's spiraling this way, which probably is relevant. Let's look for more spirals. I mean, we can see them now that we saw them. We can see them here. Probably this wasn't just a nova. This looks like it also has the chain reaction. So if we can combine this chain reaction aspect, the chain reaction is in some way related to the snakehead of Australia. This down here, where a current that was flowing around the ammonite shell came in through here and made a snakehead in this region of this overall ammonite. Oh dear God, I'm sorry for any novas happening out there in the world. I love you guys. Please be careful. I love you. Please work together. Let's share. Work together. Come on and work together. I guess I'm not doing it myself. If we could talk about it though. So I guess let's keep going. Let's keep going. This comes down this way. Some novas here, but this current that's cutting over is pretty like boom. So it doesn't really. Maybe it's not. Although it is pretty wide and connected to this, so it probably was pretty thorough, which is probably why it was able to produce this like this here, because this current it was colliding with, so it kind of deflected around and went down to like a vortex here maybe. So let's see, see if there's anything of interest here, like there maybe, which even looks like it kind of maybe spirals in, maybe like that, rather than being like a circle, like a spiral in. Maybe there, I'm not sure. If I was looking in the right spot, doesn't matter. So that's probably another place where a similar thing was happening. So this here was filling up and doing these little nova things, I guess, which was then creating like pockets over here, like, which would have like this flow could come this way, but anything getting over here, I guess, was maybe it's coming this way and wrapping around. And so it's hitting this and created this little segment, which then carved an outlet here to join back with this current. So this is another of those nova-looking chain reaction things. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Maybe there's one there, here, that kind of like somehow like the fact that this structure is there is also related to the fact that this nova center here is there, but also just the fact, like just the currents doing that. And that maybe. This one looks like it's coming down here, which is probably actually related to that. And there's probably a current actually coming through this way. This way. Coming from up here. Creating just these little pockets where they like look like flames, where the flame then has a little thread to another channel. And just thread. So here's a little flame ahead of another flame, which is cool. It probably is how currents flow in some way, if they are able to stay in a straight enough path. And then maybe over time this also flanks out, like here, it looks like it might be doing. Or here even, to a point where it has like a larger... Just thoughts, somewhat. This is coming this way though, and also going around it. So this portion goes in here, maybe. There's definitely a flow into this region. From up here. Maybe that way too. Through here, maybe up over top. And then down into here. Flow down through here, down through here, down through here, down through here, and then it merges. And then we got some more of those nova centers there. This flow out is maybe cutting across here, influencing that, maybe influencing even out to here. Also maybe piling up mounds where there's like, because of this current's here, maybe it's like almost creating a delay, like a red light. Like this stuff can't quite get through. So it kind of backlogs here, and literally backlogs. Oh, backlogging. That's probably how those logs are actually made then. There's a backlogging method. The old backlogs. Let's find them. They are in my shallogram folder. I'll bring this over here. Related formations, these things. With these cross-section things, naturally. Maybe that's even related to where currents flowed cross-sectionally through them, like this. Like there was a larger current generally that had blocking materials where it then dissected the current, which then created a intersection across the thingamajig that I just opened. Like there was currents, there was things blocking it and currents flowing that way. Let's see if I look at this shallogram. This. Hard to see. It didn't occur to me, but it's possible, like, that although this one seems to have more than this one, which is interesting. Okay, so maybe the current was coming this way from over here. Or, no, the current's coming this way, feeding into some nucleus over here, which is like around Fiji here. So here's the current coming this way through a channel that then goes into Fiji, but then it divides outward and comes through several parallel channels where it's pulling through all of these through here's Fiji, through this structure, which is the nucleus of Australia before it supernovaed the last time, I think. I think it's like an imprint of this one, maybe. Like the remnants of the previous one, or maybe another one, or it is like a negative of this one. But the ammonite structure here was occurring where there's many supernovas of larger and larger, or smaller and smaller nuclei that are just stripping the nucleus away to new stable nuclei like this at each phase, but leaving like a bunch of just voids in the way and just the shapes of it all. Oh dear God. Pulls in. Like, what else am I supposed to do? It definitely is doing that though. Like in that structure, it's pulling in from or pulling into a nucleus type source, which is this region. I bet has signs of like a large scale magnetic field of the nature of Australia. But it's pulling the currents in and then boom. So I think that's what's going on. In that way and feeding into some new nucleus in essence through this like fine threaded feeding tube that goes into like the utter core of it. It's almost like it's getting into the like tiniest center point and then expanding outward from there. Not like approximately at the center. Like this is getting exactly at the center point and then expanding outward. So that's probably like a feature of just generally the things going on there, in some cases at least. What else can we say? How's it going time-wise? 46 minutes. Sorry, I leaned into the microphone. If my audio is bad, it's because I am lazy in some ways. Which my ear is like it is, and so many things are like they are about my actual health, etc. Which people have points about. People whose opinion I value. Cuts across here. It comes up into the Shallygram Towie. Boom. Okay. We started on dripping of the islands, the like pseudo dripping in the currents dripping. So maybe there comes a time when we pass the just naturally pass the galactic equatorial when things get chaotic and then we're almost free falling or like in a yeah, almost free falling, like if you those planes where they go up and then they free fall, or maybe we're passing a point where we start to go to like actually turn into this. Maybe we're not experiencing gravity the same way and we can just like fly around. It's still strong enough to like kind of keep us there. And maybe that causes the ethereal energy within the earth to be able to like upwell out of it, so that's like the actual balanced system can remerge. Because right now we're like in a divided system of like positive, negative, and having positives and negatives rather than just like it's cool we're one and like it's just being like not having all the positive and negatives, which maybe I exemplify in my own the most like useful ways for society in the long term to learn from ultimately. Hopefully. I mean, unfortunately, it's a sad truth. Unfortunately, it may be a sad truth because I don't know what the outcome of my actions will be. I can only hope that people who understand what I'm saying and are listening can like be careful minded. Maybe not like go, too excited, hold, Breathe, let the current flow and let a new equilibrium emerge. Be in a meditative state. Don't like go out in the world necessarily and uh, manifest the most like immediate reaction. That's the problem is people will like barely listen to me and they'll do that. So like the depending on where in the current, like I'm not really thinking. I'm like maybe I can reach everyone. Not really thinking there's this huge current. Oh yeah, here's this one point that I have to make. Is the finest point. It's the finest point I could possibly make. It's the finest point. But there's this huge current. Unfortunately, what does the finest point in a huge current do? Looks like it participates in creating systematic spiraling out radioactive decay and wobbling surface. I don't actually know what ramifications my actions have, like, right now in this moment. Dear God. Dear God. Oh, dear God. Feels like it's a potential thing that it happens. Like, I got tingly fingers because I'm, like, pressuring my elbow. I wonder. It's like maybe it's preventing it's preventing the current to flow, right? So there's a current flowing, and then when there's no current, then basically this stuff is backflows back into like a more equilibrium. So it's like full, and then it kind of fills to like a balance point. So when there's no current, it becomes like an electron, and then there's this tingling sensation. Maybe because I was reducing my current by pressuring my elbow and making the vein influence my blood in my hand, making it now tingle. Just tying it into the human body would be super duper because seriously, my health makes me want to heal. And guess what? Hopefully you benefit and we all benefit and we're good. That's my hopes. So we can like smile again as a people for a long time. Without all the argumentation. Because at some point, like, is it a debate? I don't know what to say. Sure, there's another debate that arises, but I don't think this is a debate. Like, these currents are flowing and unaccounted for and explain a lot, dudes. So this must be coming in this way, giving this current and this current a sort of... maybe it went this way even. This way, this way. I feel like that's good enough. Like, how, at some point I might just be like, I guess I should just, like, start exercising and eating healthy, because that was, I'm done. I'll see you guys in a while. And just, like, walk away, just, like, right now.